All right. So again, this is Carmen. I'm Carmen Gifford with the Lakes Region Chamber, and I've traveled with just about all of you, I think, on this call at different times, and we're really excited. I know that we've all been waiting for travel, and we had to push trips off last year, and hopefully 2020 is behind us, and we're coming through this vaccine with the help of Jim and Pfizer and Cheryl and all the others that are working with the medical. Um, so I want to introduce today Ian Scott. He's the president of Aventura World, and we've been using Aventura World for our chamber trips for quite a few years now, and that's why I've traveled with a lot of you. So I'm really excited about this destination. I think it's really unique. Several of the people on the call, Ian, had gone to Egypt with us, and we did a lot of travel throughout that. So what I like about this is there's a little bit of less chaos in jumping on a bus and a plane and a boat and all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to you. But before you get started, if all of you can mute yourselves, and if you're not familiar with Zoom, if you look down at the bottom, there's a chat box. You can add a question in if you have a question. And what we're going to do is let Ian go through the presentation, and then we'll make sure that we answer all your questions before we finish the session today. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Ian. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Carmen. Thank you, Carmen. And thank you for having me here today. You can actually tell, even though I've got Athens in the background, you can tell I'm not in Athens because I don't know if you saw the news story today. Athens is blanketed in white snow. So the cold spell actually reached the Aegean today. So an unheard of event is the Acropolis is covered in snow. Now, once in a couple of decades event, I believe. But thank you for having me here, Carmen, and thank you all for coming to our presentation. I just wanted to let you know I might be looking straight ahead because I work off of a big screen and my camera is on my laptop. So I didn't want you to think that I'm not looking at you as I'm speaking. I'm just looking at the big screen behind. Over the years, Carmen and the Chamber have done a wonderful job in bringing forth interesting, vibrant adventures on their international awareness programs. And Greece and 2021 is going to be no different. This is a spectacular destination full of surprise, full of history dating back centuries, Greek mythology, the home of the Olympics, to actually be on the ground where the first Olympics happened, to run through the archway that was the ending section of the marathon. Just to name one event is fascinating on this particular trip. And in a moment, and we have started our webinar, so I'll move that one away. In a moment, with the aid of slides, we're going to head out to Egypt. As Carmen, oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just checking to see if you're listening. We're getting to Greece. Thank you. So in a moment, we'll see slides of the hotel. We'll see the destination of Kineta, Olympia, Delphi, Athens, the Plakia district, the Acropolis, and all points in between. And after the presentation on the destination, we'll go up through how to sign up on the program, either using the paper form, which you may have, or the online booking engine. After that, we'll open up to questions and answers. As Carmen mentioned, if you can use the chat feature on this as you're going along, when you get a question, just type it along in there, and we will do our best to answer all of them at the end of the presentation. This program departs out on October the 23rd through to the 31st of October. A great time to be heading into this area. It's almost a Southern California style climate, Greece. It's a lot of sunny days, low humidity, And in this particular period of time, give or take somewhere in that 70 degrees in the day, dropping down into the 50s in the evenings. You're a hardy lot up there in the lakes region. So some of you might even be swimming in the ocean. I'm not going to be in this particular period of time, but I know that you're a hardy lot over there. You might do a little wade here, a paddle or wade. Some of you we've known to go swimming too. So without further ado, let's move along. Now, before we discuss about the trip itself, I'd like to bring forth a little bit about Aventura World. Now, Aventura World is a valued leader in the US group travel marketplace since 1972. And we're a wholesaler of travel. As a wholesaler of travel, we design the programs, we contract the programs, we operate the programs ourselves. And by doing that, we have no middlemen. And we can offer tremendous value for money without affecting the quality. And that's we're not a travel agent, and I make that distinction. We have offices all over the world through our holding company, which is Sakara International. Got offices in Paris, Rome, London, Delhi, Cairo, both sides of the United States. And with thousands of employees worldwide, they own hotels, travel holdings, travel companies, and other travel-related entities. And we are dedicated to bringing forth the treasures of the world to you at a relaxed pace, whenever possible. In this particular case, this is one of our programs we call the Cruise Philosophy on Land. What do I mean by this? And it's a little bit like going onto a cruise ship. You head onto a cruise ship, you unpack your suitcase, take your creases out of your clothes and relax and stay in one location for 7 nights. That's what we do here. We head down to fly over to Athens, go to Kaneta, unpack your suitcase, take the creases out of your clothes and relax. Infiltrate into the local community, find friends overseas, and no constant packing and unpacking, which is extremely refreshing in today's day and age. One day we might head northbound, southbound, eastbound, westbound, experiencing different cultures, different histories, different traditions, and different treasures of the area. And you can often think of treasures like the Parthenon and the Acropolis, the ancient ruins of Delphi, but also we're a big believer in bringing forth things a little bit off the beaten track, learning a little bit about the local environment, meeting local Greeks. So on this particular program, we go to an olive plant. We are in olive harvest period in October and November, so we should have farmers coming to the plant with large tubs of olives, and we can talk to the farmers. We'll have a demonstration on how olive oil is made, have a sampling, not just of olive oil too, but have sampling of where it's made from olives. We have guest lecturers coming in for questions and answers periods on Greece, Greek life and Greece within the European community. We have ouzo tasting. We always like to have a little bit of alcohol whenever possible on what we call our cultural discovery series. So this time we'll be learning a little bit about ouzo also on this particular program. Now, we're also a company that changes with the times, and I'm going to express a little bit more about what we have done to try and protect you moving forward on this particular program and to bring some hope and a sense of normality is returning. Lastly, we class ourselves as the leader in value-priced first-class programs in the United States. And we're hopeful at the end of the presentation where you see what everything is included in this program, at this price, you agree with that statement. So in a moment, we're going to be jumping on that flight and off we'll go to Greece. But I always used to say, as I would be stood in front of people, you can see the brochure in front of you. I'm not sure if anybody has printed the brochure up. It's on the Chamber's website, and you can print it up, download it, save it, do whatever you want to from there. But here we have it right here. You can find at the bottom left-hand corner of the front page, Carmen's contact details. I've got a sneaky feeling you already know her contact details because you've traveled with her so many times. But there's her contact details. In a moment, that's what we're going to be using to go through the day-to-day, the registration form and such. We're briefly going to go through the program because we could still be talking about the program tomorrow if we went into depth, but we'll briefly go through it. And at the end, open to questions. Importantly, if you've got friends, family members who wants to go on this trip itself, you don't have to be from the Lakes region at all. You don't have to be from the East Coast region at all. We'd love to have your friends, family member, maybe an aunt from California, a cousin from Florida, an ex-neighbor from Sydney, Australia, and we do have those. We have international people joining US Chambers on their trips. And you can get this particular brochure to them, direct them over to the Chamber website where it is, and we'd love to assist in their travels from their home gate. So off we go without further ado. What this program is going to bring is spectacular countryside, sunsets and sunrises. Sunsets are going to be on the Santorini extension. Sunrises are going to be right in front of you at the Kineta Beach Resort, as that's the direction that the hotel faces. It brings back history spanning centuries. One of the cradles of culture and civilization and traditions. World famous sites, of course, Santorini, the Acropolis, the Parthenon, Delphi, Olympia, fantastic food. I can safely say that even the best feta cheese you can find in the local markets around you will be a fraction of the cheese that you're going to taste once you get to Greece. The feta cheese is to die for, and you can have it for breakfast too. They have it as a breakfast item too. The salads, the olives, the olive oils, excellent cuisine in Greece. I think one of the things that brings a love relationship with the US traveling public and the Greek nation is their warm and inviting, friendly people. The majority of people speak English in the capital and of course in our hotel and in and around the sights and sounds that we're going to. But I think you'll find they're a very warm and courteous group of people. And what could be better than to travel along with fellow friends and fellow chamber members on a great trip to Greece. Day one, we'll find ourselves heading to Boston Airport, and you'll be getting on your flight from Boston across to Greece. It'll be an overnight flight arriving into Athens. Athens has a brand new airport, and here we are overlooking the port of Athens. If you've caught a cruise before in Athens, there's the port of Piraeus and the Acropolis right there. But there's a brand new airport on the outskirts of town. So we don't have to go into the hub and bub of downtown Athens any longer. And we'll be soon whisking ourselves, as we met our tour director and our guide at the airport. Now, as soon as we get off of the aircraft, we'll go into the baggage hall before customs and immigration, and you'll find our tour director, Vasily, will be waiting for you there to show you the carousel that your luggage will be coming from, showing you where you can gain trolleys, and then pointing the direction out through customs and immigration. Once we're outside, will be met by another representative, and off we'll go to our motor coach. All motor coaches are modern air-conditioned motor coaches, high visibility windows, wrap around reclining seats, and all the modern conveniences you're going to need for your stay. Now, we've got 7 nights in Kineta. So Kineta, where is Kineta? Now, let me see if I can bring my mouse over. So Athens Airport, Athens is on the coast right here. And that dot is round about where the new airport is of Athens. It's on the outskirts. And we'll be coming over all the way over to round about where the T is here, the second T on Kineta. And that's where we are. It's approximately an hour and 10 minutes outside Athens. And it's a perfect location to get away from the madness of Athens, be on the beach in a quiet, tranquil area, but also be close to various places along the way. And here we are at the Kineta Beach Resort. The beach resort is a first-class Greek hotel right there on Kineta Beach itself. All the modern conveniences that you need are going to be there. Here we've got the dining room. You can see my mouse, right? So we've got the dining room here. We've got the bar right here. And these are the buildings that we historically stay in. These ones here, as they're all renovated with walk-in showers. The Greeks call them Americanified because it has a walk-in shower. Greek people usually step over a bath to get into the shower. There are 2 pools, but again, it's a great, small stone pebbly beach, but all the modern conveniences for it. It's set in a rural setting, as you can see, but we've got all your tours except one included in here, so it works really, really well. All bedrooms have twin or just something, the beds get pushed together to make something the size just a bit bigger than a queen. Satellite TV, direct dial telephone, safe boxes, Wi-Fi, mini refrigerator, balconies. Now, importantly, we're going to, there's hair dryers, sorry, as well. Importantly, we're in Greece. Greece is an environmental friendly country. So when you remember this, because you may forget it, and then somebody's going to say to you, "What? Well, don't you remember what Ian said?" So when you walk into here, you have the credit card key. You're going to go into your room, and you're going to say, "Turn the light on," and it doesn't turn on. Well, why isn't it? Remember, just at the back of the door, there's a little slot to put your credit card in there, your credit card key. Once you put your credit card key in there, your room key, the lights are powered in your room. If you go to the balcony and you've got the air conditioning on and you open the balcony door, the air conditioning goes off until you close the door again. So remember that. But the hotel has all the conveniences that you can. It's clean, it's safe, the food is ample and good. It's a typical first-class Greek hotel. And here's a sample of some of the rooms. Here we are in the main dining room. Here you can see right out onto the ocean. Right in front of the hotel, there's about a 25-foot strip of beach. Then it's the ocean. Here we have the bar. Now, the bar, you have with dinner, you have wine included. I've never known them stop serving wine with dinner. With after dinner at the bar, you have unlimited drinks. I've never known them run out, and I've never known them close until you go to bed. So they're supposed to close around about midnight, but I've been on many trips over here, and would you believe it, there's been 12:30, 1 o'clock events, and the barman is still there, and he's still serving local alcoholic drinks, vodkas, whiskeys, rums, gins, of course, plenty of ouzos, beers and wine, as well as soft drinks and juices can be gained from the bar in the evening. And as we go on, this is the secondary dining room. It's a smaller dining room, and sometimes we take this as a whole group and we all just have a dinner in this room. It's in front of one of the pools. And here we are. This is one of my favorite places to have breakfast. And I hazard a guess to say on day 3, day one, you're flying out. Day 2, you'll land. Day 3, you're probably going to be up early. It's the most idyllic setting to get up and at 6 o'clock in the morning, come down to breakfast, grab a cup of coffee and sit outside on the veranda. This veranda is right in front of the main dining room. Watch the sun come up, watch the waves trickle across the pebbles in front, and have your morning coffee and maybe breakfast if you're an early eater. But it's a great place. And look at the islands and watch the sunrise. First night, a nice to settle in, take it easy, relax and try some of that ouzo. The first time I went to this hotel, I sat with the hotel manager and I arrived at 10:30 in the evening as I was on a late flight. And by within an hour, he and I would already finished a bottle of ouzo because it's tradition. So just relax and become Greek for your 7 nights here. And here we have sunrise on the beach. And here you can see, as you see right here, the outside area underneath this canopy overlooking the ocean itself. Breakfast outside, and day 3, our touring will start. The beauty of our program is as we are out of town a little bit, so we're an hour out of Athens. Athens is noisy, it's busy, it's also extremely expensive. So we can offer tremendous value for money and tranquility by staying outside on the beach. But we want to make sure you have a full Athenian experience. So we go to Athens twice on our program. Our first is our city tour, where we'll see the majority of the ruins and the temples of Athens, including the Parthenon Acropolis. We'll see the site of the modern Olympic Games from 1896, not the original Olympic Games, but this is the modern, which is in downtown Athens itself, and it's used as a sporting venue right now. You may see people running and using the track. You may see them just relaxing and sitting out on the terraces themselves. We'll see the Arch of Adrian and the temple of Olympian Zeus. We'll see Parliament buildings and the memorial of the unknown soldier. We'll do our best to be there in time for the Parliament, the changing of the guards, the Academy. You'll see the Academy and spectacular Athenian architecture throughout. Famous philosophers such as Plato don the downtown area. Here we are at the National Library. And we will also stop at Constitution Square, which is the cultural hub and meeting place of the city of Athens. It's also a great place to just sit and watch the world go by, or even see a little bit about what's underneath Athens itself. Without having to buy a ticket, you could go down one of the steps to the underground, to the train system underneath here, and you'll see a living museum in the walls of the train corridors going down to the train platforms. You'll see statues and artifacts that were dug out as they were building the underground train system. We'll continue on after seeing the sights and heading up to the Acropolis. Construction began in 447 BC, and it was built at the peak of the Athenian Empire. And it is a spectacular sight. It's gone through a painstaking renovation and cleaning process. And I was here December of 2019, and they were just finishing up. You have the opportunity to see the original in the original spot. Very soon, they're going to be starting to replace all these stones with replicas. And the stones are then going to be going into the museum itself, and they're going to be built in a protection area of the museum itself. But it's in its current form right now. Guided tour, we have our tour directors and guides have forgotten. I apologize, I missed something here. You'll have a tour director in the hotel. They're responsible for looking after you in the hotel. Is there anything they can help you with in the hotel, getting you to and from the airport? Also, on each coach, for every movement, we have a specialized Greek guide. They've forgotten more about Greece and Greek mythology than we'll ever know. In addition, we'll have a driver on each motor coach too. And we'll have a tour of the Parthenon and bring out history and view the spectacular views from around. After that, we'll come back to the hotel, and then we will, day 4 will be upon us, and we have another included tour. We're heading to the beautiful mountainous regions of the Peloponnese Peninsula. Spectacular hillside villages perched precariously, and some of the best olive producing regions in the world. We've all heard of Sicilian and Italian olive oil. Well, Greece has spectacular olive oils, and it's one of its #1 imports. But we'll be heading into Acadia, and we'll see Acadia as we see here, deep into the Peloponnese Mountains, continuing on to Messina, which is a Homeric city. It was nicknamed the rich in gold by ancient poets. And it's a burial ground, but it's also a Cyclean site. So here we've got, for those people who may have been to Machu Picchu, this is Greece's equivalent. No mortar is in between these stones. Each stone was carved many, many miles away and brought to the site and placed intricately. If you see some of these, this one looks a little bit like a state of Texas, but it's more than just a square block, and it's all placed together without any mortar. And it's a fabulous piece of engineering, how they could have got these stones here and up to such a height. We'll have a tour of the town, of the site itself. We'll continue into the beehive tombs, the royal tombs. These tombs were built, and you can see huge structures. Members of the local nobility and royalty were buried here. Then once they were buried, the door was closed and sealed, and then the tomb was covered with soil. So people didn't know it was there. Each stone, again, without mortar, holds the next one in place. It eventually goes into, just like a beehive, it goes through to a point at the very, very top. Unbelievable pieces of engineering. We'll continue after that into Agios Amphitheater. It's still used today. And the acoustics is unbelievable. Again, this is a shot that was taken in November 2019. If you look at the very center of the stage down below, that is a 8-year-old boy from the United States, of all places, reciting a nursery rhyme. And you can hear him from here where we are. And he's not shouting, he's whispering. Fabulous piece of engineering. And they still use this site for concerts and plays. Continuing on, we go into Nathalon, which is one of the Greece's most idyllic and beautiful coastal towns. It has its castle that overlooks the downtown narrow cobbled streets below. And we'll have a short guided tour and then some free time to go out there and shop and maybe aid in the Greek economy for a little bit. as you shop a little bit here. Evil eyes are great things to gold items. Gold is 24 karat gold here, but it's a beautiful little shopping area as we go through. Then we get into our first cultural discovery series, an olive oil plantation and tasting. As I mentioned earlier, we will be in Greece during olive harvesting. The farmers bring their olives in large square tubs like this. They're divided up into either organic or non-organic. There are two separate presses in, and I mean factory in the loosest sense. This is a family-run organization. We go down a dirt road to get to it. This is not a recognized plant that is an industrial style plant. We want to be able to get in there and meet locals. So we go out there, you'll see farmers bringing the olives in. The first section is the cleaning of the olives to get rid of all the dirt, all the leaves, all the twigs as it goes through a cleaning process. And then it goes, whether it's, of course, different, organic or non-organic, it goes into the crushing process, cold press. This is virgin olive oil. You'll have a conversation with staff members of what virgin olive oil is, what second press is, and what engine oil is. That usually that cheap cooking olive oil is an oil that has been heated up, and it's everything that's left in the stone and everything that's left in the skin. That's what that 1% is, that cheaper olive oil. So you'll learn what that is, but this place only makes virgin cold press olive oil. They sell the rest of it away to somebody else to do that heated process. And here we are with the owner's daughter of the plant in the laboratory. Not only do they make olive oil, and we sample olive oil on fresh Greek crispy bread, but they do chocolate, olive chocolate. They have face cream. I've run out of it. I need to go back. I'm not one for face cream, but I got some face cream the last time I was there. As soon as I put it on there, I could feel my crow's feet just disappearing. And now they're back. It's very, very interesting. And you have, if you're interested, you have the ability to buy, but it's more on an educational format is our intent here. Back to the hotel, dinner, head to the bar, have another glass of ouzo, maybe a Greek beer. Day 6, we'll find ourselves heading on the water, either from the small jetty. This boat is on our jetty right in front of the hotel, or we'll be going to a small port close to the Corinth Canal to climb on a boat, and we'll be cruising the Aegean and the Gulf of Corinth through the Corinth Canal. The Corinth Canal is approximately 4 miles long, and it cuts through the Corinth Peninsula. Prior to the canal being built, boats, we had to go all the way around the peninsula itself. Now, what's different to normal canals is there are no locks here. So there's no locks to go through from point A to point B, no raising of water. Boats it's based on the tidal conditions of the ocean. And as we all know, the Mediterranean, Aegean, and that type of place doesn't have much of an ebb and flow of tidal conditions. So it's open all the time. So we'll be jumping through here, and you'll be seeing fabulous sights such as here. Here we've got the main road bridge across to the Corinth Peninsula, and the train bridge too. And here we have one of the boats going through. We'll be wandering through, and you can even see ancient Roman statues that's been carved into the rock face itself. If we're lucky, we might see some bungee jumpers jumping off of the bridges here, but I don't recommend it. On the return, we have our second cultural discovery series. There is a restaurant right at the side of the Corinth Canal itself, where we'll sample some ouzo. We'll learn about ouzo, and we always have something that you can't have alcohol without something to eat. So there's usually some fried shrimp, maybe some calamari, of course, some bread, a little bit of salad, and we sample some seafood at the said same time. Now, we've all seen tankers, we've all seen cargo vessels, but how many people have actually been up close to a cargo vessel while it's moving? And this is an awe-inspiring event, to actually see the boat push its way through the water and then see the propeller turbulence behind, only a matter of feet away from you as you're there in the restaurant itself. It's truly amazing. Day 6. Day 6, again, we're back to the Kineta Beach Resort. Day 6 will be upon us. This is an optional tour. And I'm going to say, oh, this is a included tour. Now, how can they be both? So they can be both because as long as you sign up for this trip, reserve your space by March 22, the Delphi tour is free of charge. And the Delphi tour is a total of, on this particular program, the Delphi tour is $159. So you save $159 if you do sign up by the 22nd of March. Also, you save an extra $100 too, because the price goes up after March 22 by $100. It's a contractual thing we have with our hotel. They give us a special price if we can have people sign up sooner than later. But the tour is what we're discussing right now. Why not go out on the Delphi tour to one of the most sacred and beautiful religious ruins in all Greece? And day 6 will be on it. We'll be arriving through some beautiful mountainsides, lovely villages, eventually arriving through to Delphi. And here we are at the a temple of Apollo. Now, Delphi was a religious pilgrimage place. It was a very rich and wealthy place. The main walkway was paved with gold statue, marble, all opulent settings. It's a slow, steady walk from the bus park through to the temple of Apollo that we're looking at here. Nothing too fast, nothing too strenuous, but it holds spectacular views down to the Peloponnese Peninsula and into the olive plantations that we were in just a day or so before. We'll see the Athena Sanctuary, the treasury, again, which was draped in gold. Again, this was a very wealthy place. The Temple of Apollo and the altar, the ancient stadium right there. This stadium is as though it could be played. You could be playing sports on it today if you really want. It's so well preserved. The stands, the running arena and such things as that, and all that's for you. After that, we'll head into the Delphi Museum. The Delphi Museum has many of the artifacts pulled out of the site itself. Some others we'll see at the new Acropolis Museum in Athens in a moment. But you'll see pottery items, statues, some headdresses, a little bit of jewelry. You can see here these mannequins. These were designed to place jewelry on them. This is ivory. The arms, the faces that you can see here are all made out of ivory, and the gold is actual gold that you see. Come back to the hotel that evening, and this is the only optional day tour on the program if you sign up by the 22nd of March. And it's to Olympia, the original site of the Olympic Games. Now, if you don't want to go on this tour, There's things you can just relax, take it easy. Lunch will be provided at the hotel for you. If you don't sign up for the tour, lunch will be on the tour, obviously, if you go on the tour. But you could relax, read a book at the hotel. Approximately a quarter of a mile from our hotel is the train station on the west, on the left-hand side of the track. That takes you to the Corinth Peninsula, across that bridge, the Corinth Canal. And on the right-hand side of the track, it takes you into Athens, if you want to go back into Athens independently. But for those people who would like to see the original site of the Olympic Games, we're heading to through to the Corinth Canal, across the Corinth Canal, into the Corinth Peninsula, through to Olympia, home of the original games. And here we're looking at the Temple of Hydra. We've got the Temple of Zeus, and here we've got the last section of the marathon running. They would run through the archway and into the stadium. And here we are into the original stadium of the Olympic Games, the first Olympic Games ever. It's a huge site. You can see the gateway right here that we'll walk through. And then here we've got the arena where running would take place. They come through this, run around the track once, and finish the marathon by the gate itself. But other events would be happening while the marathon was taking place. It's a great adventure for the day, and to see something that we've all seen the Olympics on the TV, but how many of us actually seen the place where it first started? We'll come back to the hotel, relax, dinner, drinks. Day 8, we're going to go back to Athens. We want to give you not only, a little bit, we could include the Acropolis Museum on the day of the, when we go to the Parthenon and the Acropolis itself, but we want to make sure you have some free time and we're not too rushed. So we're going back again today, and we're going to the brand new Acropolis Museum, which is right at the foot of the Parthenon itself. And here in this brand new museum, with the aid of our guide, we'll have a commentary of various important artifacts. We could spend a week in this museum if we really needed to, but we're going to be there to view the most important parts. You'll also see, as you walk into the museum, one of the interesting issues that contractors and builders have. You see this gentleman right here, he's looking down at the ground. It's all glass around here, and this section is open. That is ancient Athens. When they went to build the museum, they found multiple layers of ancient ruins underneath, and they have preserved it throughout the museum. So you'll see every so often a glass floor, and look down in those glass floors, and you'll see down here at the entrance, there is there's a house, and you can see the living area, the bedroom. You can see the narrow alleyway that connected houses together. And it's a great way to understand what a nightmare it must be to be a contractor in Athens. As I mentioned, we'll be seeing many things here from the Bronze Age, Roman Age, Byzantine area of Greece, Athenian Greece, all here on store, and we'll be visiting with our tour director and guide. Here we can see again that looking back, and here we can see ancient Greece underneath the museum itself. Lunch is included. Now, as I haven't gone in through the included features yet, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included daily. If we're on a tour, lunch is included in an outside restaurant. If we are at the hotel, lunch is included at the hotel. So your meals are taken care of no matter where you are. But on this particular day, we'll be going to a local restaurant, usually in the Plakea district, which is the old town UNESCO heritage section underneath the Acropolis itself. And we'll have lunch. And here we are in the Plakea district. It's narrow cobble streets, shoppers galore, local markets. You can buy your evil eyes. You can get golden items and such things as that. And here we turn you loose for the afternoon. Give you some free time to go and, yes, help the Greek economy if you wish to. Sit in an outside cafe, have a cup of tea or coffee, and really have a great time. We'll come back to the hotel, and usually on the last night there's a bit of Greek dancing in the restaurant, and day 9 will be upon us, and we'll be heading back to Athens Airport for our flight back to Boston after that, back to the United States, with spectacular memories of an architecture and an ancient civilization, history spanning centuries, and again, spectacular coastal scenes. We welcome you to the world and the family of Aventura World. When you're safe and secure in our hands, you are safe and secure in our hands, as our guests have been since 1972. Now, what's included in this particular program? We class it to be quite a lot. So you got round trip air transportation from Boston. You've got 7 nights in a first-class Greek hotel, the Kineta Beach Resort Hotel. 20 meals, which equates to daily breakfast, daily lunches, and daily dinners. You've got drinks at the bar each evening, local alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. Bluntly, if you want a specific bourbon, they may not have it. You might have to bring that yourself. But you know, they'll have a whiskey, they'll probably have a bourbon, but it might not be what you particularly want. It might not be a select item, but they'll have good quality drinks throughout. We've got wine with dinner in the evenings. We've got all your tours. If you sign up by March the 22nd, except one, we've got Athens City Tour with the Acropolis Museum. We've got the Corinth Canal. We've got the Penipolis Peninsula. We've got Napoleon. We've got also, again, Delphi. Only Olympia is an optional tour. We've got our cultural discovery series. We've got the olive oil and olive tasting and plant. We've got Greek ouzo. We've got those 2 guest lectures, one on the Greek way of life and one on the Greece and the euro. If anybody knows anything about the euro, it's a very complicated entity. And it's very fascinating how the European Union does work because it is so complicated. We've got a professional tour director for all airport transfers and in the hotel. So every time we leave the hotel, he'll be waving goodbye. When we arrive back, he'll be greeting us to assist, and he'll have hospitality hours in the lobby just to see if we can help with anything. We've also got a guide and a driver on each coast. Deluxe air-conditioned motor coaches, baggage handling for 1 piece of luggage to go underneath the aircraft and in and out of the hotel. This tour activity level is level 3. Level 3, if you pop on our website, you'll see our activity level, but basically it means you can get on and off of buses, you can handle some steps, and you can take a walking tour with walking for about 20-minute constant without a rest break. That's really the criteria of this trip. We service the mature American travelers in their travel planning. So again, I don't think this will be a too strenuous a trip for you. If you managed the Egypt program last year, the Egypt program is much more strenuous than this one. The price of the trip, if reserved prior to March the 22nd, is $31.99. Single supplement is $5.99. Your airline fuel surcharges are included in that price, but the $150 for land taxes are additional. and those will be paid at final payment. Now, as I mentioned, the Delphi tour is included with that if signed up by March the 22nd. After that date, the Delphi tour is $159 a person, and the price goes up to $22.99. Now, while you're there, approximately 60% of our travelers historically say, I want to extend. I'm already there. Let me go a little bit longer. So we've got a 2-night extension across to the island of Santorini, the volcanic island of Santorini, quintessentially and famous for its blue domes and its whitewashed walls, as we're looking at here. Now, what's included in this particular event? So we've got, and this goes from October the 31st through to November the 2nd, 2 nights in a first-class hotel. We've got flights from Athens to Santorini and Santorini back to Athens. We've got daily breakfast. We've got a city tour and an island tour of Santorini. We've got a professional tour director on the trip with you, and we've got our baggage handling. Again, the price of this, $7.99 a person, double occupancy, or it's $12.98 for single. But here we are on Santorini. Santorini is a rock, a volcanic rock that emerged out of the ocean, and it's in the inhabitants of Santorini live on the plateau at the very, very top, overlooking beautiful crystal blue and emerald green oceans. Sunsets. This is where you'll see sunsets on the program itself. First night, a night to relax, take it easy. Afternoon to relax too. And then day 10, we'll have our Santorini Island tour. We'll be heading up to the monastery at Prophitis with its spectacular views of the entire island. Here we can see the airport down below. We'll see Pygros with its multicolored buildings, with the Greek Orthodox Church right at the very top. Wine in Greece has become one of their biggest exports. When I was a kid, the wine in Greece wasn't too good, but they've done a wonderful job. And we'll be heading into the wine museum, and we'll have some wine sampling too. After that, we go to Oia, which is the most photographed, or one of the most photographed shots in all Greece. Again, it's those narrow cobble streets, whitewashed, and sometimes multicolored walls, those blue onion domed roofs. And with our tour director and guide, we'll have a commentary of the city tour itself. We'll come back and see our last sunset on the island itself, and day 11 will be upon us, and we'll follow up back home to the United States, again with histories and traditions and cultures far different than at home, learning of the Greek way of life, Greek mythology, and an idyllic setting to relax within. Now, importantly, no visas are required for Greece. A US passport is required with 6 months left remaining on it from your last day of the program, and 2 blank pages. Greece is a member of the European Union, and they follow that rules and regulations with passport and visa control. You don't need a passport, and we'll discuss more about this in a moment, to sign up. If you don't have one, sign up and get your passport a little bit later. We'll discuss that in a short while. Now, how do we sign up? Nice and easy. It's really, really easy. You either use, and I printed it up as you see here. Oh, I printed it up. Here's the brochure, and here we're on the back page of it. It starts with your name as it appears, and I'll run through it with my cursor. Here is Carmen's information on the front cover. We'll discuss about booking number in a moment, but here you can see it right here. When I say you'll be able to find your booking number on the front cover of the brochure or on the registration form, that's where you'll find the booking number, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But it starts with your name as it appears in your passport. First name, middle name, or middle initial, last name. Importantly, as I mentioned a moment ago, if you don't have a passport now, don't wait to get your passport to reserve your spot on this trip. If you have an expired passport, give us your name as it appears in that passport. If you've never had a passport before, give us the name that appears in the document that you're going to be producing to get your passport, i.e. your birth certificate. Then your date of birth. If you have a passport, drop it in here, country of issue, date of expiration, your mailing address, city, state, zip code, email address. If you've traveled with us before, you know we don't send specials, we don't send this, that, or the other. All we do is communicate with you on the trip itself. And in this modern day and age, we give you invoices, reminders of payments, and such things as that. And as we're in a new age right now, we are also sending documents. Final documents will be e-documents from now on. So you'll gain all your documents directly to your email address. So please make sure we have that. Then your home number and your cell phone number. Single occupancy, tick that box, and it's $5.99 additional. Double occupancy, tick that box, or twin. And please circle if it's a double or a twin that you require. And then indicate who you're sharing the room with. Excuse me, every time I talk, I don't breathe correctly, so I have to apologize. I talk and talk and I don't breathe sometimes. So in this section here, a registration form is required by everybody traveling. So let's say John and Alice Smith are want to sign up for this trip. John fills out this section right here, and then it indicates Alice Smith is traveling here. Then Alice is going to fill one out and then indicate John right here. And that's how we know who's in that room again. If there are two single entities, two ladies or two gents staying in the same room, exactly the same thing. We only need one form of payment if you wish, but if you wish, you can put two forms of payment on each form if you'd like. We then get into notes. Anything you want us to know about you as a traveler, please let us know here. So low sodium, fat-free diets could be one of them. If you're traveling with friends and you'd like to have rooms close to each other, put rooms close to each other. We can't always guarantee next door to each other, but that could be something else. If you've got that aunt who lives in California, she might say, fly me out of San Francisco or Los Angeles here, or get me a price out of San Francisco or Los Angeles. It could be something that's placed in here. Then we get into the optional tours. Yes, I'd like the Delphi. It's included if you get in by 22nd of March, but ticket, yes. If you're violently opposed to it, ticket, no. You'll still get it, but if you don't want it, then you don't want it. The Olympia tour, yes, I'd like it. No, I wouldn't. Please tick that there. We get into the Santorini expansion, yes or no. And then at the bottom of each one of these is a total. So if there's just one person paying for it, here's the total of the amount here. But if there's two people playing, it would be the total amount. Okay. And then we go through this next section. This next section is designed so that you can easily purchase travel insurance. We learned that there was people were forgetting about the taxes, which become part of the equation for travel insurance. So we built this worksheet for you so you know how much the entire price of the trip is. So if you book up before 22nd of March, it's $31.99. Any optional tours, drop them in there per person. Single supplement, if you're single, drop it in there. If you want to go to Santorini, drop it in there. Add the 150, And that's the amount of money the trip costs, which will then go to the travel insurance brackets here. If you decide to book after the 22nd of March, you see it's just $100 different, and such things as that. Okay, so that works very well. I put a little smiley face here because insurance, I talk about insurance and I'm very frank about insurance. I hope you all take out trip insurance. I hope you all waste your money on it. Why do I say that? Because if you are in need of travel insurance, it means something has happened to stop your enjoyment level of the trip. You lost luggage, you might have got sick or ill or fallen or something like that. And we certainly hope that doesn't happen. And so as a result, I hope you don't need it and you waste your money. But I've seen it far too many times that people have said, I always take insurance. This time I didn't. And this was the time they needed. It covers such things as a medical event before you go, which stops you from going, a sickness of an immediate family member or accident, which is a medical event such as that. It covers medical on the trip interruption, travel delays, missed connections, medical evacuation, lost baggage and personal effects, baggage delays, and such things as that. And this is travel for a covered with insurance for a covered reason. But now we also cover cancel for any reason. So and you can see the policy of this and also the cancel for any reason by clicking on this link, or even, and I'll show you where it is. We'll go to the next section, and there'll be a telephone number like this indicated where you can call. So you can actually see right there, there's a section right there that is the link, and you'll be able to review the policy. Cancel for any reason is something that's just come out, and it was agreed to after the brochure was made. So it is cancel for any reason is the same coverage as cancel for this coverage right here. Lost luggage, all those things that I mentioned, but you can just cancel all the way up until 48 hours before you go for no reason whatsoever. You just say, I don't want to go. Okay. And that's the upgrade. It's a 50% upgrade. So based on a price of $121, so 121 times by 50%, it's an extra $110.50. We're in an insurance world, so we have to be precise. So $110.50 additional. So it brings it out to a total of $331.50 for cancel for any reason. And then you're covered. But you can review the policy right here, right there. Once you see this amount here, you'll be able to go to whatever tier you have here. We then get into, yes, I'd like the insurance. No, I wouldn't. Please, could you make sure that you tick this box, and whichever box you'd like. If a paper registration form comes over to Carmen, I'm going to ask her if you see that it doesn't come with a yes or a no, please, could you just have a word with the traveler? Are you sure you don't want this? It's very important to us that you're protected on this, and we take insurance very seriously. Then we get into the calculation of the deposit. Please feel free at any time. If you want to pay in full, please feel free to pay in full, but you don't need to. It's $600 per person to reserve your space, plus the optional tour. So right now, if you sign up before the 22nd of March and you want to go to Olympia, you include the $159 a person. The extension to Santorini is due at the time of initial reservation. And then the travel protection, either standard policy or cancel for any reason. Drop that in there for that amount. Okay. And then That's the total amount for the deposit that will be charged. That amount transfers down to here. But before we get there, let's discuss the payment methods. We take checks made out to Aventura World, or credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, or Discover. Card number, security number, expiration date, name on card. As I mentioned to you earlier, one of my opening statements, we're a company that changes with the times. We don't know what October and November is going to bring. We believe we know, but we don't know. There's many things, as we have found in the last year, that is out of our control. So we want to bring forth some stability wherever we can. And we want to bring forth an ability to be able to, for you to put an X on a calendar and say, I'm getting back to normal. I'm going to be traveling to Greece on October the 23rd and put an X on that calendar. But be knowing the fact that you have an ability to get your deposit back, your Santorini money back, your optional tour money back without any question, all the way up to 121 days before you go. So you've got plenty of time to get your vaccination, to get your second vaccination. I've got a sneaking feeling that some of you might have already have had your first vaccination. I say this because the majority of our travelers are 65 and above. And you're in the first wave part 3 or the second wave part 2. So even if you haven't had it right now, based on government statistics and statewide statistics, you'll have it by the summer. So we're buying you some time for you to feel comfortable, for you to have some hope that, yes, I am going to get out of my weekly only adventure to the supermarket. That's been my travel plans for the last year, and I'm going to go to Greece now. But knowing the fact that you'll get your money back. Now, there is one point to that, and I'm always very frank and forthright in conversations. The travel insurance is not refundable once you take it out, because it's working from the time you give us that premium and we take it and we buy that premium on your behalf. It's working for you and protecting you for that, for pre-existing conditions, for example, and such things as that. So it is not refundable, but the rest of the money you give to us is. Now, if you look at that, what I said about a moment ago about insurance, I used to take about 3 international trips a year. I always take travel insurance. 3 trips a year for the last 20 years, that's about 60 trips. Out of 60 trips, I've used travel insurance twice. So in all aspects, 58 times I wasted my money in one sense, because I didn't get any benefit from it. I had the reassurance that I was covered, but I didn't get anything from it. Only twice have I used it. So I look at the thinking, when you think of travel insurance, look at the fact that that money's gone, but it's protecting you. So if you decide not to go at 121 days, you don't get that back, but it was protecting you. And it's an important part of any program to make sure you have travel insurance. Of course, if you have canceled for any reason, that's a different scenario. But as we go through, that's why I have this big section circled here. Lastly, we go into here, this section, whatever figure this came out here, drop it in here, sign it and date it. Reservations are taken on a first come, first served basis. I strongly encourage you not to wait till March the 22nd to reserve your space. If you know you want to go and you know that you're covered on the trip with a 121-day money back deposit and options guarantee, sign up sooner than later. People, as of 2 weeks from now, the entire United States has not really been on a international vacation for about a year. And we assess that as vaccines roll out and get in people's arms, the last quarter of 2021 will be the biggest travel period in decades. So please do sign up sooner than later. Importantly, you're not the only chamber on this date. We have other people on this date. So please keep that in mind. The registration form ready, get it out to Carmen, whether you take a photograph with your phone, get it to her, mail it to her, fax it to her, drop it through the mailbox, however, and then she'll get that registration form over to us. You also have the ability to sign online. For those people who've traveled with us before, it's a little different now. So we've made the process, we upgraded our booking engine in this past year, and we have made it safer and more convenient for you. So you'll go, if you haven't done this before, you'll go to www.aventureworld.com/booking. Again, this here is written underneath Carmen's name and on the top of the registration form, and you will then come to this page. Either you've already got an account, like you do an account with Amazon or something like that. That's what you now have to do with us. If you don't, put your first name, your last name, your email address, and make a password. And then just underneath this series of codes, there'll be a series of codes here. Under here, there's a box, which I don't have, but you duplicate this code on here and press send, okay? Then what happens after that, oops, sorry, it's for some reason, it's gone out of order. I do apologize, I was messing with this. So then you will then get a verification email that says, is this you? You'll press on that link right here that's highlighted, and then this will come up. And you'll drop in your your email, your password, and then again, another one of these codes. Log in and you're logged in. And then, I apologize, I'm going to have to go through this again. And then it'll bring this page and it'll say you by name. Hello, welcome back. And it'll say your name. How are you today? And then you'll put in your code. Remember where that code was? Underneath Carmen's name or on the registration form at the back. And then it will bring this form to you right here, okay? And this starts with your passenger information, your name, date of birth, passport information, your address, all your particulars, and that's saved in our secure system. So you never have to do that again as you move forward, okay? And then it asks what type of rooms do you want, where you're flying from. If you're flying from a different gateway other than Boston, you can put in that destination. It'll then go into optional tours and then go into travel protection. In this travel protection, it will also bring up the cancel for any reason pricing. You won't have to bring out a calculator and do 50% of the premium cost. It'll bring it up. And then there'll be a review section and payment. Once you press pay, then you'll be able to, the registration form will come to us, and you'll be able to, a Carmen will get a copy of your name and contact details to say that you've reserved, and you'll get notification that you've reserved. Okay, now I need to go back. And so am I back again? No, let me go back. So that's that, and I do apologize for that. So, and that's the way. Carmen doesn't get your credit card details and such things as that, So we certainly hope you'll join the chamber on another terrific year, this time in 2021. And are there any questions, Carmen?
Yes, we have a couple of questions. So one of the first with regards to the vaccine, is it going to be required to have proof of the vaccine to travel? Do you know where that is going at this time?
That's a great question. And that's above my pay grade. So that's going to be a government that's going to state that. We will mirror whatever government entities do say. That could be an airline. I don't think, personally, I don't think that will happen. I've been trying to figure out why I'm losing color, and it's because I apologize. The sun is starting to hit me.
I think I showed him how to make a background, so now he's all techie.
There you
There
see
you
the
go. Your
sun.
sun came.
The sun was hitting me. Sunset is appearing.
So
So
basically, it's going to come down to the different countries requiring the proof of vaccine or not.
I believe there will be a uniform mandate, especially with the European Union, any of them, and it will mirror image the US mandate too. But if I was to say, I probably think that that may not happen. If I could say, the mandate would be that you have a negative COVID test before you depart. And that will allow you, that's currently what it is right now. That allows you to get into Greece right now. If you wanted to go to Greece next week, a negative COVID test 72 hours before you depart on an aircraft will get you into Greece. Now, because we're still relatively new with the vaccinations and such, there is no rules and regulations on what we'll do when we get a lot of people vaccinated. So that you're going to have to watch the space, and we'll be informing you of what happens. That's why we brought in our 121 days money back, because there are so many things we don't know yet, because policy is being made as we speak. But I think that it's going to probably stay the same. Now, I would say, again, this is a personal choice, but I would say if you want to travel, why not get the vaccine? I know I will when I get the first opportunity. I'm not a vaccine. I've never taken a flu shot in my life, and I avoid medicine whenever possible. But because I love to travel, and I will be taking the vaccine at my first opportunity.
Jim, did that answer your question? I don't know if others had any questions with regards to immunizations or anything like that. No.
Yep.
There are no other immunizations. We're in a European Union, and please, while we're elaborating on this, there's a reason why we're going. First of all, most of our trips to Greece head out in October and November. But there's a beauty of this too, because it gives us longer to get the vaccination, for the world to settle down. I'm not entering into politics, but yesterday the current administration says by Christmas we could be back to virtual normal. Well, you know, vaccinations by the summer, I'm very, very sure that people who want a vaccination will have a vaccination by then. And by going in October, it gives us all a bit of time to see how the world goes and be protected by our 121 days money back.
All right. I do have a couple questions. One is, is there a maximum number of travelers that you're allowing on this
Yeah.
trip? I know, with safety
Yeah.
guidelines in the different states, because we're all
Yeah.
from different states.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Is there a bus
Okay.
capacity or?
Okay, great question. So currently, we are operating this program under social distancing guidelines. Social distancing, right? And I'm not sure if when this trip goes in October, whether we will be operating under social distancing guidelines. So I need to bring that distinction out. But right now, 30 passengers on a 55-seater coach is what we operate. Roommates can sit together, family members can sit together, but we usually do like a zigzag as we go down the bus. So the seats on the bus over your left or right shoulder are always empty, as well as the seat behind you is. So it goes down the bus like a zigzag. So there's plenty of spare seats. We load from back to front. So the back of the bus loads first, and we get off of the bus from front to back. We use a seat rotation system and such things as that.
Okay, that answers that question. And my other question was, are they direct flights from Boston to Athens, or are there layovers? And if you take the extension to Santorini Island, do you go back to Athens and then
Great
You can
question.
explain that.
Great question. Anytime with the airlines, I just go, it's really hard. I don't know. And I'm very frank with this. But currently I do not believe there is in an end of October period a non-stop from Boston through to Athens. So it would be either over to Europe, a transit, and then a connection into Athens after that, or down to a Washington Dulles, where there's only one carrier that does a non-stop out of Dulles right now. So it's most probably going to be a stop in Europe and then over after that. The second part of that question for Santorini, yes, you will come back to Athens and then you will connect with the flight back to the United States.
Which airlines do you typically utilize?
A great question. On this particular program, we historically use a combination of a couple of alliances. So the United and the Lufthansa Alliance. And that brings in Aegean Air, which is a Greek airline, or Delta Air France. Historically are the ones that we use on this particular carrier. Okay. The only aircraft that operates between Santorini and Athens is Aegean. So you will be on Aegean at one stage, but that's just for a quick up and a down, a 35-minute flight.
Does anyone else have any questions? You don't have to type it if you want to turn your mute off. You're welcome to ask. I just want to make sure, since we have Ian here, it's a great time to ask them. I can't see you all. Kimberly, you have any questions?
No, no questions for me right now. Thank you.
Karen, Sandy, do you know how to turn your mute off? All right. And I know Rosa joined us late and she's out in the Kansas area. She's traveled with us before, and I told her I recorded this. So if you have people that may be interested, I'll be able to share this video as well.
Yeah, great. Great. Well,
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yes. Hi. Do you have any
Hi.
questions?
Yeah. Are we going to be able to get on a bus here locally to go down to Boston, or we have to get our own transportation now?
No, I always coordinate something from here, and I'm happy to do that again.
The other thing is, if Sandy and I are very interested in the Santorini, when we get back, are we going to be able to get back off in Boston and still get on another bus to come back up?
Yeah, whatever, whether you take the extension or you don't take the extension, I'll always coordinate transportation from here and
Okay.
back to here. And I'll be doing the extension myself as well. But as we get closer, I'll figure out how many we are and what that transportation is going to be.
Okay, I got one more question about money, in the sense of what to take for currency, US, or should we all have everything in euros?
You got that, Ian?
Good question.
yes, sure. And just so that you know, we will be having another one of these events a couple of weeks before you go, and we readdress these items such as this. But to answer your question, credit cards are widely accepted throughout Greece. So credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, American Express in that order, and American Express way after Visa and MasterCard are accepted. So ATMs, you can get ATMs. The best way to get money in today's day and age is in an ATM machine with your best way to get yours is with your ATM card at an outlet over there, and you'll be able to get euros. If you're allowed to get $200 out on a daily basis, whatever your limit is over here, you'll be able to get the same amount of euros out over there. Now, I strongly recommend to take about 200 euros with you just in case. just get them at the bank. Nothing much more than that for your first day. The hotel is not allowed. Greek rules and regulations doesn't allow hotels to have exchange rates of exchange houses in there. So when you arrive, even though you don't need money for your drinks, you don't need money for your food, you're going to Athens, you'll find an ATM there. It's a good idea just to grab some euros from home, and you know, $200 worth of euros will tide you over until you find an ATM.
Are we typically tipping our drinks or our meals, or is that included?
Yeah, tips on your drinks, just a little bit. You could give dollars. You can't give coins. You know, tips such as that, I strongly recommend you take a good amount of ones. Just US ones are perfectly fine. Any currency is perfectly fine for tips. If you've got euros, of course, they're a lot better appreciated, but you could do dollars too.
That's great.
Any other questions? If you're muted, I can't see you all, so.
Great.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody hopping on and joining us to find out more about this trip. I, for one, am very ready to travel.
Me too. Me too.
Me too.
And, you know, I've traveled with most of you, so this will be great. Ian, I appreciate you leading this off. I know we haven't really worked together since I first signed up with Aventura World way back when. You actually were here in Vermont at one of our chamber conferences.
It was.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it was a long time. So I want to thank everybody. If you have questions, feel free to email me. I am working pretty intermittently remotely, so you can always call my cell phone. I'll send that out. I'll do a follow-up email so you have all that. But feel free to ask any questions, and if I don't have an answer, I will ask Ian, and I know his team is always right there to answer for us as well. So
Thank you, Carmen, for recording for me.
you're welcome, Rosa. And I look forward to hopefully traveling with you again.
Yes, me too. No
All right.
COVID this time.
All right. Well, have a good evening, everybody, and please be careful in that snow. And I certainly hope you'll join us in Greece. It's a lovely trip.
Thank you, Ian.